How are you all doing out there? How is everybody? How's your day been? In the studio, I'm Wimbo77 and we have...
Naturally Lily.
Oh yes, on the waves, on the all flavors waves. And we must say there is always a variety on this station. Allflavasradio, some great stuff over the start end, some awesome stuff. Saturday, Sunday, back-to-back music from all the DJs, and also some really great stuff last night. Mark Philogene, DJ Slim, and the original Mr. Fix It. Great stuff. We shall be giving the chat room and everyone else a little shout in a while. So, Lily, how are you?
I'm okay. Just on break now, so enjoying the break.
Yeah.
Well, trying to.
I know we were shopping most of the day today, weren't we?
Yeah, but it feels like I feel a sense of accomplishment when I've done my shopping. Because I shop for the month. I can't just, you help me. So
yes, same.
I can't do week to week shopping. But I felt a sense of accomplishment after that shopping was done.
Yeah.
And then I got some really good news, so that added to the high of today.
Good news, I did. My work phone rang, so hey.
Yes. Good
happy. And I'm the same. I like to shop once a month. I find you do save more for one. And it's just one big shop. You know, obviously you go and get things like veg and stuff, the fresh stuff, throughout the month. But just like even the meat, and if you're a meat eater, you get it, you clean it, you season it, put it in the freezer, and then it's just like an easy life.
Yeah.
Like, that's my opinion. I find it a lot easier doing it that way.
I couldn't bear to do it every week.
Oh no, I couldn't imagine what it was like. So lots to be getting on with tonight, and we're still going to slightly revisit the domestic violence that we were touched on last week and see from another perspective how this could be infringed on in life. But I think first off, Lily, what was it that you wanted to speak about? Something really positive, wasn't it?
Yeah, I saw, I think it was Unicef. Is now going, well, it said UNICEF to feed hungry children in the UK for the first time in a 70-year history.
Wow.
I thought that was something positive. I mean, we've had petitions about the lunchtime or the hot school meals that was done by Marcus Rashford, and I think there's just been a wave of support for underprivileged, deprived young people and children through this very tumultuous time. And it's like recognition is happening now. They're it says that they're going to help to fund food parcels for those affected by the current crisis in Southern and South London. So hasn't quite reached the northern borders yet, but I know that they are quite deprived areas in the south side of the border. So
I find it quite, for me, it's a little bit scary, because when it's the UN agency that has to come in and feed families, it's quite concerning, right?
It is really, really concerning. And I was walking past the food bank. There's a food bank by my house. And usually there's one person's queuing outside. And last week, there was a queue that went on up the road, and it was all different types of people, all different walks of life. And it just really hit home. It just made me think, oh my goodness, we are really going through it. Some people are really, really going through it at this time. Because I've never seen that else. That food bank has been there for the whole time. I know they've been providing food for quite a while for people who are suffering, but that queue really, it did hit home.
It makes you wake up to like how bad the situation actually is. And like I said, it's great that we spoke of Marcus Rashford and ending child poverty, but when you look at this, child poverty is going to be there for a little while longer, I think, especially when the UN starts to get involved in these situations. Then you know that things are really bad, because we normally hear the UN in war-torn countries or third world countries, right?
Yeah.
But to be here on our doorstep, yes, it's wonderful that they've stepped in, but then what does that show us? What does that show us about our situation right here in the UK?
Well, you was mentioning the other day that even those who have had quite privileged lives, or, you know, were at the top of their economic game, so to speak, earning good money, are now, you know, so indebted, they're thinking that they're not even going to have, can't even feed the dog.
Yeah, there was something, it was a program, I think Ken was watching it the other day, and it was just showing like people that have quite lucrative careers, how they're just wondering where the next penny's coming from. One guy, he was a manager of a construction company, and he ended up having to sell all of his belongings. He had one thing left, which was his bike, and you could see that he was just so desperate for the fact of he was probably again on 5 figures, 4 to 5 figures, and now having to sell all of his possessions. I mean, we are in critical times, right?
Definitely.
Very critical times. And when you think of it now in tier 4, whatever that means, this tier 4 just come out of the blue, people were crying.
And I think personally speaking for myself, I think I've been quite blinded to it over the last couple of months, because I've been surrounded by people who are quite well off. You know, I'm in a community where people are making same 5, 6, 7 figure incomes, and are living quite comfortably. And you look at these people and you think, well, how are they going to go from 5 to 0? That's impossible. And then, you know, you hear examples of the gentleman that you just mentioned, and a lot of people don't realize how close that line is, that at any time your situation can just change, you know.
Yeah, anytime your situation can change. And that's why I know we spoke even the other day about a rainy day fund and all that stuff. When you seriously think about it, they say you're only one wage away from being on the breadline. And we are quite clearly seeing that in our day, our time, in a Western society, right? So
it's like the acronym of job, just over broke.
Yeah.
Your job is that one pay slip away from them saying, oh no, not this month. You know?
Yeah.
How are we able to kind of, if we are put in worst case scenario situation, how would we manage?
Yeah. And this is where, again, coming together as community. So that was lovely regarding the church, the place where the food bank is, that there are places like this, you know, that we can, if we really fall on hard times, that there is somewhere to actually go in order to just have something sustainable to live on. Because again, there was this other thing, there's a lot of poverty in this country.
There is, but it goes, because we haven't been through this situation before, namely the pandemic, we haven't had to face it, and we're not on, well, I wouldn't say we're on the breadlines. We haven't had to face that poverty, so to speak, but now it's so in our face, you can't ignore it. But even like you were saying, you mentioned doing something nice the other day, I think you said it today, about the food parcels, which I think is quite nice, because we tend to think that in order to give back, we have to have loads and we have to give so much to so many people, but actually we could just hone in on one person that we know may be going through it. And a food bank's great, but that's only once a week. What happens when they get to, that's on a Wednesday, what happens when they get to the Sunday, Monday, and then the Tuesday, maybe thinking about someone who is going through a rough time. And if you got any little bits left over, or not even left over, you got something there, just putting a little parcel together and taking it over for them.
Just share. And, you know, it's lovely to do that from your heart. And we never know, even amongst our neighbours. It's funny because little Barry down there, it's like, you got everything you need. He's so concerned, and he's the one that needs it more than I do. But he's always offering. And likewise, just looking out for each other and making sure that everyone has something to eat, has had something to eat, offer someone in for a cup of tea. I mean, obviously now with all this bubble business, I'm not too sure about it. And I don't know, what are you doing out there for the holidays? Are you going to stay at home regarding the crisis that we See, we've been told that we're not to mix now in families, or I think we're allowed one day. I'm sure that's what I heard.
No. Christmas is cancelled. We're not allowed to go and mix with anyone if you're on tier 4. You stay in your own home. So
it's totally cancelled then, guys. Well, what are you going to do?
I think if you're a supporter though, so say like for example, our grandma who lives on her own, if you're her support bubble, then you can go there or she can come to you.
Right.
But if you're families, you can't go from one family to another family.
See, or you can't stay overnight somewhere.
No.
Right. So it's, I mean, all this thing with a new strain as well. There's like different strains of flu, right? We were talking about this. So I'm just totally flabbergasted in the sense that days before everyone has made their plans, gone out and done whatever, that the rug has just been pulled from under people.
It's really, really hard as well, because even for me, I don't celebrate Christmas, but I do have people over my house when we have dinner and play games and stuff. And thinking, I've been doing that literally since I left home, and now thinking this is the first year. I'm fortunate to have my family. I've got a husband, I've got my 2 daughters, so we can still, have family time. But our extended family, it's going to be very challenging not being able to have them around on that day. And at all for the next, goodness, like we haven't seen our people for so long. Zoom is great. It really is. But I want to physically hug my brother. I want to physically hug my sister,
Yeah. What are you all doing out there, people? Are you still going to see your families? Or are you going to be obedient, as it were, and do as we're told in the sense of staying home and possibly having dinner over Zoom? Because that was one suggestion that was made, that maybe be cooking in the kitchen on Zoom and having dinner on your own on Zoom. But obviously you're not on your own. You've got someone there, but it's not quite the same, is it?
It's not the same, but that actually did cross my mind. To just, even though we're not all together, or we'll all cook our meals and then we all sit down and have a little chat around the Zoom table. Oh, it's hard, isn't it?
It's tough. It's
hard.
But we'll work it out, I'm sure. I'm sure that we're still, it doesn't have to be cancelled in that sense, right? The Christmas time doesn't be cancelled. And we definitely aren't allowed to meet like one.
No meeting. If you are a household of 4 and you have a brother who's got a household of 2 or 3, you both need to stay in your own house.
Wow.
Yeah.
I heard some things, because there are some guidelines. So say if you're at university, for instance, you're allowed to travel home. Yeah.
Yeah, most probably.
Or if someone's in your support bubble, and say if there's someone on their own and you're in one household support bubble, then you can go to that place.
Yeah, so like Nana, you could go to Nana's because you're in her support bubble. But you can't, like before, they said, okay, for 5 days we're going to relax the regulations, and for up to 3 families can meet on from the 23rd, I think it was, until the 27th.
Right.
Now, everybody except for those in tier 4, which is us, because we live in London, everybody except for those in tier 4, that still applies.
Yeah.
But we in tier 4 have literally gone back to the lockdown of March.
I don't get this. Why, guys? I'm
because
confused.
Because people don't follow the rules.
Is that what it is, though?
It is. I am physically seeing evidence of the surge.
Yeah.
Of the true. Breakouts and of the not the breakouts, the outbreaks. And it's literally because in front of my eyes, people are not following the rules.
The struggle is real then.
It really is.
Because you're first hand and you see that.
I see it. I see it.
Well, I'm glad that, going back to UNICEF, that they are feeding, because what they've said is that it's the YouGov poll in May, commissioned by the Charity Food Foundation, found that 2.4 million children, that's 17% of children, in this country were living in food insecure households. So by October, an extra 900,000 children had been registered for 3 school meals.
Wow.
That's a lot of children.
I find that the amount, though, that they're putting towards fruit and veg is so small.
What are they putting towards fruit?
4,500. That's nothing for a big company like that, given the fact that they get over millions and millions of pounds worth of donations.
I think that's one firm, funding. Though, Abel and Cole. That's one firm. That's 1.2 tonnes of fruit and veg worth for. That's quite a lot for us. Maybe they're, I don't know who they are, Abel and Cole, but that's one company that's providing fruit and veg. Maybe they're farmers or something, you know. But that statistic that 17% of that's children
big number
in the UK, again, going back, I mean, we see all these adverts, well, on the television. I'm sure they're playing them at this time of year, right? About Africa and how do they play those at this time of year to give?
I don't watch terrestrial TV, but I will most probably think they would.
Right, and yet there's 900,000 children that have applied for free school meals. You know, yet on our doorstep we want to give to Africa and say, hey, they're poverty stricken. But right here on our doorstep, that's quite a large number of young people, young children.
Yeah, also find it very interesting though that they're only offering, if that's the number, 17%, 900,000 children, and they're only supplying 25 schools in the south side of the river.
That's breakfast, 18,000 nutritious breakfasts, 25 schools. It's not a lot, is it? But how many children are in those schools? Is the next question
18,
that you've got to ask.
Oh no, 18,000 nutritious schools. Breakfast is what they're providing.
Wow.
I mean, they need at least one hot meal a day, and breakfast is supposedly the most important meal of the day. It gets you started for the rest of the day. But you can understand why there are now why when you look at the performance in school, why it would be lacking. Because a child, if you're having to now provide all of these children with breakfast, that means that they're not getting fed breakfast before they leave the house. They're going to school hungry. Did they go to bed with a full stomach? Maybe not. So they've not had a proper meal since their lunch yesterday.
Yeah.
And they're coming into school with hungry with no breakfast. They got to wait till lunch. Maybe they might perk up after lunch. You would not think in this so-called first world country that we would have third world problems. But is it a third world problem? No, because we're having to live with it.
I got my new passport through this week, okay? And I thought, let me just get it in before so I can still have my purple one so I can travel everywhere. I got a blue one.
Black.
Is it black?
Yeah. Right,
well, whatever colour it is, it's not purple or red, right? And I'm only allowed to travel to like 2 countries.
Wow.
That's the UK, that's United England and Ireland, right? And I don't know why I said that. It was to do with what you said about
third world problems.
Third world problems, right? I know in third world, when we go to Africa, that they make big bowls of food and everyone shares.
Say that.
Yeah. So it's not a community problem because the community looks after each other. But when we're in this Western world, your neighbour, you can't even. Years ago, you could go and ask for. I've run out of sugar, but sometimes you don't even know who your neighbour is. Yeah, and that's where the issue stems from. So third world problems, no, because they learn to adapt as a community and work as a community to combat the poverty.
Because I have seen a lot of greed during this period, actually. Like when everything first started, everyone was cleaning off the shelves and not thinking of the granny down the road who can only get to the shops at 11 o'clock and by then everything's gone off the shelf. And it did make me think, you know, what about those who can only afford a packet of noodles and you've just taken all them 22 pence packet noodles off the shelf?
Yeah. So what are your thoughts out there, beautiful people? How do you feel about that Unicef having to come and tackle the food issues that we see happening right at this particular moment. And how are you managing? Are you going to be meeting up with your family over the holidays, or are you going to meet up with your family over a Zoom call? Let us know, and we'll see you in 5.
Hi everyone, this is Shayla Prosper, and I have a new album out. It's called Under My Skin. It's filled with high energy jams like this. Mellow mid-tempo grooves like this. Breathing in love, wishing and hoping we could get what we got. And smooth, slow jams like this. Ain't that love? Grab yourself a copy from my website, ShaylaProsperMusic.com, and enjoy this collection of rich, warm, contemporary soul and R&B cuts that you will enjoy in your playlist for years to come. Under My Skin, out now.
Tune in to All Flavors Radio, Saturdays 8 to 10 with DJ Nige on the Shortiest Show, one of Eve's Lewis' favorite hangouts.
All Flavors Radio is now looking for radio presenters. Email us at info@allflavorsradio.com.
Catch DJ Laro on Sundays with the Caribbean Party, 12 to 2, and the Vibe Show, Tuesdays 8 till 10 on All Flavors Radio.
24/7 playing your favorite artists.
Hi, this is Everton Blender, and it's all about the Old Flavors Radio.
Sits in your man Bushman, and guess what? You got it locked to All Flavors.
Papa Scario, I say come take a little winding up. Hey yo, it's a girl calling XP, the Booyah Queen, straight out of Dominica. Bigging up All Flavors Radio. Keep it locked.
All Flavors Radio.
Oh, yes. I love those adverts. We're in here dancing to all the grooves in the background there. Oh, yes. So we were talking about how Unicef are going to come in with the UN, and feed the children of the UK. And it's quite funny because this is supposedly a first world country, but on the flip side, a third world country, Akon, has gone in there and is doing some really amazing things, right?
Yeah, I think he's done a lot of things for Senegal.
Yeah.
Isn't there a city there called Akon City where it's got, reusable energy and things like that when it comes to electricity? And he's done a lot.
I think it's amazing. He says that they'll pay for everything with this new cryptocurrency, first off. So guys, it's important to have a little bit of crypto, right? Because that is the way that the world is going, but that's for another show. Yes, but he said that it's in Senegal. He's started this little city, and I think any one from the diaspora are allowed to go along, and live there.
Wow.
So it's been Akon has done a lot for Africa.
It's a 2,000-acre metropolis, which was first. It was first rooted back in 2018, and it's got luxury resorts, high-rise condos, recording studios, a stadium, and the crypto is called an A-coin, which I love that.
A-coin.
A-coin. But he really has, and it goes to show when you get to a certain point, how do you give back? And I know a lot of other celebrities, they do give back to the community, but it's really nice that he's gone home and he's given back at home, because he is Senegalese, so he's gone back to where his support would have been, I guess.
And just to build up the economy there, because one thing I always say sort of to myself in some instances is like, we've grown up in the West, right? It's meant to be all this oasis and metropolis, but we can see how the West and how we can get stuck here, right? So Akon has built this metropolis, this oasis that even runs on clean energy, right? He's gone back to Africa, done that, said, guys, come. Now with us, with all of our expertise, now one of the reasons this is my opinion, guys, so remember I say, don't take my word as gospel, this is just what I think and feel within my heart at this particular moment. So I feel that we have the expertise. The reason why they do not educate the Africans is because once we become educated, your eyes are opened and then you can see everything that's going on around us, right? But keep someone ignorant, they won't know that they're going in and taking out all the diamonds, they're going in and taking out all the gold, they're going in and taking out all the oil, because they're not keyed into that, and they'll have them as subservient workers, right? But once you become educated to a degree, you can see what's going on around you and make that change. Sorry, we're just going to take this call, okay? Hello?
No, it's fun.
Hi, caller.
Done all the fun, man.
What's that? Okay. Oh, they're gone. I don't know what they said there, but yeah. So we can see that. So once you become educated, right?
I don't even think it's once you become educated. I think because I see it this way: a lot of people from other countries. So, for example, if you're from Asia, if you're from Africa, they are educated in their own countries. They are doctors, they are lawyers, they are educated.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting that when they come here, it's very hard for them to practice as a doctor, I mean, the body doesn't change. The body's technically the same. I know practice is different. And then you have to do some additional training to become, to be able to practice. But I feel like they make it so hard for them to come here and practice as a doctor that you see a lot of them as housekeeping.
Yep.
And I feel like that is a mental thing, like you're saying, it is a mental thing. I don't think it's about educating them. I think it's about the fact that it's what it does to the mentality. I'm only good enough. Back in my country, I was this. Yeah, but when you're here, you're only good enough to do this.
Yeah.
And I think that, yes, we do. I think the ones that are here, so us being the generation that are here, we need to be educated, because then, yeah, it does open our eyes up to a lot.
I'm talking in the sense of going and helping them see that they too can run their own country, and not enable these people to go in and rape the country.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to pay, they just want to eat hand to mouth. That is their sole kind of aim, is just to survive, right? But they could be more than that. And that's where we come in, because we have some form of know-how that we can go and educate them and say, hey, look, you've just given all this away, or people are coming in and taking the mick.
Yeah, but we're still foreign going in their country.
We are Tubab, we are Mzungu. What can we do, right? Mzungu is tourist, Tubab is tourist. That's Wolof and Swahili. Sorry.
Yeah,
just coming. But yeah, so we are to them Tubab or whatever, but at least we can, sometimes you can get with the locals and you can have a decent conversation and enlighten them to things. Because I never forget, I was on the beach one day and this guy, he comes cycling up on this cycle and he throws a net out into the sea, catches a fish, put it into a polystyrene box and cycles off. We can't do that here. But they don't recognise the wealth that they have. But if they were not ignorant to that fact, because it's just like an everyday occurrence to them, then maybe things might be different.
But they might just be content with that way of life there, though.
But some of them aren't, because you'll hear them, you will hear them sort of, oh, we want to come to Europe, we want to this, we want to that, not realising
what they've got there is just, it's almost better.
Yes, and this is what Akon has done. Akon has gone in, he said, right, I'm going to build this great city, come. And hopefully, I'm sure he does, it extends all the borders of all the locals, that they too can share. Yes.
But then do you not think us saying, oh yeah, you can do this, and him going in and building this city, I think is amazing. But do you not also think that he's westernizing the purity of that country? Because we talk about living in the Western world and when they come here and us being ignorant and whatever, but then we're going there and telling them to build story high condos.
I don't know. Because
it's kind of like, not hypocritical, but I don't know, it feels a bit like we're saying, your land is great, but we're making it better by building these big things and giving you a stadium, and
it's all modernisation though, isn't it? And growth, I guess. But then look at what they're doing around here. We're losing all the natural beauty of an area that is really naturally beautiful because they want to put up those high rise and so forth. But then I guess until we go to Senegal, we won't know.
Yeah.
But at least that opportunity is there.
I'm glad to say I've been close to Senegal.
We did. We didn't go on the ferry though, did we?
We didn't go on the ferry, but we've almost been there. Yeah.
And that's probably, was it in Dakar? I don't know whereabouts in Senegal he's done it. But, you know, they said it's like the little Wakanda, wasn't it? Yeah, it says the project has already secured about 1/3 of the 6 billion needed. That's not bad, is it? So it's a project, it's something in action, you know, and he's declined to publicly identify who his investors are.
That's good.
But at least he has investment, you know. So I wonder if that's on the stock market, this little town of Akon's. Would you say that it was?
No, I don't think the town would be on there. It's not investment that wise. I think it's just people that have put into helping build up the economy. You know.
Yeah, it says that this Julius Mwali, the Kenyan technology entrepreneur, behind a similar. So there's another similar project going on. It says has also invested 4 billion.
Wow.
You know, so I'd love to. It would be great to get over there and see how this whole thing pans out, isn't it? Because if there is somewhere like, you know, Wakanda Forever, not that I didn't even really watch that film, to be fair, but it's something for us and by us, like I always say, isn't it? And Akon, he has truly reinvested his wealth into doing something amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite funny, isn't it? That the African diaspora that we say a third world, that they're elevating, as they would, rightfully, and the first world, as it were, which we totally aren't.
But we know what they portray to us as being third world.
Yeah.
We know what they've been, you know, you know that if you go to places like Nigeria, Ghana, is what they show us is completely not what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Opposite. Africa's beautiful, but they show us children with big pot bellies and flies in their eyes.
Yeah.
And that is so not the case. It's so not the case. What I find sad, though, going to Africa is the way that it has become quite westernized. So you don't see everyone in their traditional dress, or you won't see certain things that you would have seen before. But you're not seeing that now. But still, you know.
But like you said, they're going in and modernising it.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts out there? What are your thoughts too? Would you visit Akon City and use a Akon crypto? Acoin?
Acoin.
We'll have to go onto Coinbase and see if you can find some Acoins. What do you think?
I doubt it's tradable now.
No?
Not yet, no.
It's in its beta phase.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, cryptocurrencies, a lot of people are scared of them as well, the crypto, aren't they?
Yeah, I think because there's a lot of people that don't make it very appealing, like the scammers and things like that. You just have to know. If you have to do your research, I think, when it comes to investing anything.
Yeah.
You have to do your research. Obviously, there's ones that we all are aware of when it comes to cryptocurrency, but it's the platforms, the exchange platforms that kind of trap people. You need to know which ones are the legit trading platforms to use and that kind of stuff.
Well, it all goes back again. Like I said tonight, is we do research what we look at, but sometimes we do give our own opinion as regards to those things. Same likewise with cryptos. Sorry, we still have to do our research.
Oh yeah,
and know what kind of works and what is right and what isn't right, and then just act kind of accordingly, isn't it? So check Akon out. I mean, we need to hail him out. 6 billion smart city in Senegal. So the lines are open now, everyone. If you'd like to call in and further discuss with us what you think as regards to what we spoke of earlier, the UN having to come in and feed 900. Well, no, they're not coming in and feeding 900,000. It's 17% of children in this country need aid as regards to food parcels because, one, there isn't enough, or how you feel about Akon reaching out to the African diaspora and building this 6 billion smart city in Senegal. Would you go there and maybe have a second home there? Who knows? It might be very affordable, but you will have to pay with it with Akon.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome, isn't it?
Acoins.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know, so we will conquer that. But if you, it's quite funny here because there's a very long delay as regards to when we're playing the music. So you did try and call in during the break, but then we are kind of almost a song ahead, if you can think of it like that, song ahead. So when we kick in and speak, that's when you can kind of call in, and then we can further the conversation. All right. So yeah, Akon and the Akon City and the UN having to feed and help children in the UK.
You're listening to the Drive Time Show on allflavasradio.com. Yeah, all right.
Sambusha, Jamaica, Dominica. Oh, don't we love a bit of Tony?
After playing that song,
yeah,
I got a question for you.
Okay, what song's that? Oh, sorry.
Oh, after playing the Tony Braxton song, he wasn't man enough for me. I got a question for you.
Okay, what's your question?
So, I don't know how we came across this question. Can't remember how we came across this question.
Mm-hmm.
If a man has a wandering eye,
right,
is it the woman's fault, so the woman that he's looking at,
yeah,
or is it the man that you need to be pulling up about that?
Very interesting. We can possibly put it towards the beautiful people that are listening. Could you say that again, Lily?
If your man or woman has a wandering eye,
yeah,
is it the person that them eye catch? Is it their problem?
Right.
Or is it the partner's problem who can't keep their eyes to themselves?
It's quite funny you should say that, because I've had this before where I'm out with my husband, you know, and there's a lady and she's got her fellow and she's all hexing up with me like
you're trying to take her man.
Yeah. And I'm like, hold on here. Haven't you seen my man? You know, kind of thing, you know. And that is very bizarre. Why? Maybe it's insecurity. Can you tell us? Shouting out to Marjak and the family, Anisha, Isa, Anaya and Tai Tai out there. Can you tell me? Because, yeah, what's the reason? Can you tell us out there, beautiful people? I've not given you the number yet, have I? 07895 134 713. 07895 134 713.
Because you know in that song she says, he used to bother me, but I'm not thinking about him. He's your problem now.
Yeah.
But you're making me a problem.
Yes. Yes.
So is it his is it why, like, I don't understand why women feel the need to go and take it up with the other woman, why they're not taking it up with the man. Because in my opinion, it's the man's problem.
A lot of the time, we get a lot of this. So, you know, when those shows back in the day, like, is it Jerry Springer?
Oh, Maury.
Ricky Lake. I mean, that's going back, Ricky Lake, isn't it? But that these women would go on and fight after, but this is if a woman chooses to go off with another fella, right? However, if you're in your corner and this guy, you can't help that he's just taken a shining to you. It's not your... It's not my problem. You instigating anything. Yeah. And then his woman has an issue with you. She really needs to take it up with him. Yeah. That sounds really bizarre, kind of went round in a really funny kind of way, you know. But she needs to take it up with him. But more than likely, possibly because of the insecurity within the woman, she would have a problem with you.
Yeah, but your insecurity is not my problem.
It's not, but obviously... because her fella's looking at you,
because I'm
then
beautiful.
You become the problem, don't you?
Yeah,
you're beautiful. Okay, Lily. Yes.
No, but like I can't help it. If he can't keep his eyes straight, I can't help that.
I think, do you know what I'm going to come up with? It's not an invention, but it's something that they use on horses.
Blinkers.
Yeah. And you guys have got to wear them, like, no, not really.
No, but the point is, if he can't keep his eyes straight, then that's a problem that you two need to keep. You need to discuss that with your man.
Maybe she has. Maybe she has discussed it with him, yet still he has that roving eye. And there's nothing much that the person that his desire, whatever's on, it's not their issue. But then they've obviously got problems within their relationship if he keeps looking outside of that.
Yeah.
Or some people, it's like me, I like to look at flowers. Some people just like to look at beautiful things. Right?
We're looking at a flower and looking at a flower is two different things.
Yeah, but if you're beautiful, you're beautiful. You can't, what you meant to hide yourself under a bushel or, you know, you can't hide who you are. And if someone shows that appreciation and looks at you in a nice way, then what can you do? It's not your fault. But there are a lot of insecure women out there. And that's going back into not even that. You know, last week we spoke about the domestic violence. And I wouldn't say that it's a lot of insecure women in that situation. It's just women that have found themselves in a really, really hard situation that they find it hard to get out of.
But then I do think that insecurities would contribute to that, because that person's beating you down so much to make you feel a certain way that you then may think, oh, if I then leave, no one will want me because of A, B, C, D, E, because of what that person has said to you, that makes you feel like you're not worthy of somebody else's love.
Yeah.
That's an insecurity in itself.
This number 99 has said looking and listening over someone are two different things.
That is very
looking true. and listing or lusting probably over someone are two different things.
That's true.
So looking, yes, you enjoy the flowers, you love to look at beautiful things. It's fine to look at beautiful things. But if you lust over them, then yeah.
It's another matter, isn't it?
And normally, do you know then, let me put this question to you then, Lily. This is very impromptu, guys. We're going off script here. But do you know if another woman likes your man?
Yes.
You do?
Always.
How do you know that? So
I have a sixth sense.
So maybe that's what the woman's feeling.
No,
she might think that you like them.
No, but she wouldn't have that. She don't know because that sixth sense is always right. My sixth sense is always right. I've said this to my husband many, many times. Like, that person likes you. No, they don't. They don't. Yep, that person likes you. No, they don't. Yeah. It comes out in some form or other that I was right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you give. We're always having these conversations, me and my friends. We're always saying to the guys, it's not you, it's the woman that we don't trust, because you may be like, no, I'm not interested, but you don't know what's going through that person's head. You could just be a really nice guy. My husband's a very nice guy, but you be nice to the wrong person,
it could lead to
that's
problems.
Curtains for you, mate.
Yeah. Well, this number 418 here says he needs a big time thump in the eye.
Because he's lost in over someone else.
Very funny.
I love it. Joy says, you wouldn't know if you weren't looking. Who wouldn't know? I would know if someone was
sometimes you feel the eyes burning into your back.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt eyes burning into your back? Like, you know, and like, oh my gosh.
Like, I'm one of those wives that when I do see another female staring down at my husband, I will stare them back down and give them that look that says, put your eyes somewhere else.
Right.
Because I am territorial. I've discovered that I'm quite territorial. So I will make it very obvious. I can see you looking. I'm in the microphone now, people. I can see you looking. Avert your eyes. Okay.
Yeah, great. But what if they don't?
But I am crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if they don't? And what if that, I mean, it's not a connection.
Most of the time my husband just laughs though.
Yeah, but it's not funny sometimes when you're kind of in that situation, is it? You know, and it's not nice, like, to have that roving eye. 99 says, I've looked at someone, but they reminded me of my people back in the village I came from, and even told that to my partner at the time. Okay. Hi, Ricky. How you doing? So I've looked at someone, but they reminded me of my people back in the village I came from, and even told that to my partner. Okay.
So that's why he was looking at them in that way.
Yeah, he wasn't looking at them in a lustful way. But then, is that the insecurity of the partner then? Like, I'm not looking at them like that. They just, it's funny, you know, reminded them of someone that he saw in the village, of someone that they knew.
Yeah.
But you even get that problem when you meet someone that you know from back in the day. And you're like, oh, hey, brother, are you okay? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm good. And then they got the partner there and you're getting like daggers thrown.
Yeah, but if they don't introduce you to their partner, are they wrong? That's another question that I've always... If you meet, so say for example, you meet someone, a guy that you have known many, many moons ago, but haven't seen in ages, and you're with your husband. Do you introduce your husband? Oh yeah, hi, such and such. Oh, it's great to see you. Oh, this is my husband. Do you introduce your husband?
I don't know. I don't think all the time.
I think that's wrong.
Why?
Because then your partner's standing there just like a stick, having nothing to do. You're laughing and joking right in front of them, and they're just like, okay, cool, I don't exist.
No, it doesn't bother me like that though.
It doesn't bother you, but what about your partner? You haven't introduced your partner to this person that you're laughing and joking with and reminiscing on the old days about.
I don't end up in that situation often, so I don't have to worry about it, to be fair, you know, but yeah, you would introduce like, oh, hi, this is my other half, or this is my husband, this is my partner, whatever. Because then at least you're acknowledging them and bringing them maybe into the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, but 814 says, I don't think the issue is someone looking, but if your partner is upset about it and you don't acknowledge it, that's the problem. Looking is harmless, but if it's like craning your neck and being distasteful, that's another story. When I see women look at my husband, I feel proud because he fine. Yeah, that's the right attitude to have. Definitely.
I do think that's true. It's the acknowledgement of how the person's feeling. Because I'll be honest, we do go out and then like we might see a really pretty girl and I'll be like, oh, she's really pretty, and we'll have that conversation between the two of us. I might get offended if he does say, oh yeah, she's really nice, but usually doesn't say that. And then on the flip side, I'd be like, oh yeah, it was nice, like, and we'll laugh and joke about it. But it is, how far does that go, you know? Chrissy says, I agree with Naturally Lily. You should introduce your other half to your longtime friend as he's standing there like a lemon. It's respect. Thank you.
Yes.
It's respect.
Yeah.
You're just standing there, just holding up, holding up the air. Because I've been at the receiving end of that. Not that my husband didn't introduce me to someone, but have known this person for a long time. Okay, let me rephrase that. They thought they were my husband's friend. It's a female, obviously. And I know this lady. And we saw them after a long time. We was at a convention. And they came clean up to my husband. Hugs and kisses, and I'm standing right there and I'm like, oh, she don't see me standing here? I think that's rude. Because even if you don't like me, you can at least grit your teeth and be like, oh, hi. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a well.
Or am I just being
that is a one that is, as Chrissy says, it's the respect.
Yeah.
And even if you know that other person, say, even if they don't, I'm such and such. No, your husband or your partner should say, this is my partner, whatever. So in that sense, Ricky says here, communication is key, but respect is very important.
Yes.
However, insecurity is a problem only if there's no trust. You know, and it doesn't bother me. Like, Ken's there and will be around whoever, and I've seen women just, you know, but to me, if he's going to go off, he's going to go off. There's no me being insecure and having a go or anything like that is going to change the situation.
No, I don't agree with that.
What do you mean?
Because I think you can have insecurities, and I agree with what Ricky said. Insecurities is only an issue if you have trust issues, because as women, we do have insecurities.
Right.
That's not to say you don't trust your husband, your wife, whatever. We do have insecurities, whether we like to acknowledge it or not. But also saying, if he's going to go off. Yeah. But how much of the going off do you want to contribute to? Because I do feel like there comes a point where you have to state your claim, let your partner know that you are grateful that they're with you, and that you know what I mean. You're
grateful that they're with you.
Yeah, it's a privilege to be with me.
That's more like it's more of a privilege, isn't it?
But you have to be grateful for your relationship as well.
You appreciate the fact that
because if they don't feel like they're
elevated and raised up, do you get you know?
Yeah.
So
but you know what I mean. Like if they don't feel like you want and need them there, then you're kind of giving them fuel. In my head, when I first said this, it made sense. But looking at your face, I'm like, it's not making sense, is it?
No. But the trust,
but you know what
trust,
I mean.
Yeah, it's about appreciation.
Yeah.
For each other. It's about communication, as Ricky rightfully said there as well. It's about respect, as Chrissy said. You know, and at the end of the day, all those things together, then you're not going to be ignorant, and you're not going to mind your partner not if you're looking in a lustful way at someone else and your partner's there in the room, or if they're not there in the room, you still shouldn't do it. You know, then that's when it becomes a problem. Yeah. So
I still fully don't. I'm still gonna be territorial though.
There's nothing wrong with that, but you know that you're fly, that you're cool, and that all it is, you know, that you trust.
Yeah,
we've spoken about this trust thing before.
I think Ricky hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, so it's communication, and if they do it and you're not happy about it, then you've got to discuss it. And Ricky says here, we don't own each other. We must be careful not to have a Eurocentric mentality.
What does that mean?
So maybe, Ricky, does that mean that Eurocentric mentality is that people feel that they own each other?
Ownership.
You know, you have ownership over that person, because you are right. No, we don't. We are a complement of each other. A woman was designed and made as a complement for the man. Yeah, and to work in line with the man. All right, a woman was never ahead of a man, like we spoke before, isn't it, Lily? About we are the neck, and without the neck you can't turn left to the right. But we work together. All right.
Yeah.
So please elaborate when you speak on the Eurocentric mentality. But I kind of feel that I understand where you're coming from there. Yeah, and so. Yeah, that's what Marjak said about he doesn't think it's an issue if someone's looking, but if your partner's upset about it, then you really have to acknowledge and next time not do the same thing and not introduce your partner.
Yeah, because even when you look at it from the spiritual sense, I know there's a scripture that says a man that looks at a woman so as to have a lust for her. So it doesn't say that looking at that person is wrong, but it's that feeling that comes along with it. Are you looking and, you know, is it making you feel a type of way, as opposed to just looking and thinking, oh yeah, that's a beautiful person.
Yeah, but it's going back to the way that we look then.
Yeah.
Is it lustful or is it looking with appreciation?
Yeah.
Yeah. It says that, Ricky says, raw to the core, be careful not to have an enslavement mentality of owning someone. We not to cage each other. So, yeah. So we're free within the relationship, but knowing that there are boundaries, obviously.
Yeah.
It's what we spoke about last week, about those not going outside of the union, you know, and having that respect that we're going to be trustworthy within the partnership.
Yeah.
So, wow, some seriously interesting discussion there, guys. Thank you so much for calling in and texting in and continuing the conversation with us. So if you want to carry on with it, it's 07895 134 713. That's 07895 134 713.
Hi everyone, this is Shayla Prosper and I have a new album out and it's called Under My Skin. Filled with high energy jams like this. Mellow mid-tempo grooves like this. And with smooth slow jams like this. Grab yourself a copy from my website, ShaylaProsperMusic.com, and enjoy this collection of rich, warm, contemporary soul and R&B cuts that you will enjoy in the playlist in the years to come. Under My Skin, out now.
Tune in to All Flavors Radio, Saturdays 8 to 10 with DJ Nige and the Shortiest Show, one of Eve's Lewis' favorite hangouts.
All Flavors Radio is now looking for radio presenters. Email us at info@allflavasradio.com.
Catch DJ Laro on Sundays with the Caribbean Party, 12 to 2, and the Vibe Show, Tuesdays 8 till 10 on All Flavors Radio.
24/7 playing your favorite artists. Hi, this is Everton Blender, and it's all about the old Flavors Radio. Sits in your man Bushman, and guess what? You got it locked to all flavors.
I scare you. I say, come take a little winding up. Hey, yo, it's your girl calling XP, the Booyah Queen, straight out of Dominica. Bigging up All Flavors Radio. Keep it locked.
All Flavors Radio.
So many rainy days, I know I got bills to pay. Am I enough to make the cut and make things go away? Always seems to be constant moving. I'm on the go as if for show, but I'm just standing still. And all you gotta do is smile. Just take one step at a time. Look within, you'll see the signs, my love. And even if it takes a while, I know life can be a trial. You can take it to the other side where there's no more stress. Gotta get up now and bring it on back to love. Bring it on back now. Gotta get up now. Bring it on back to no regrets. Shaking it up now and bring it on back to love. Bring it on back now. Shaking it up now and bring it on back to love. Another morning breaks again, and I ain't slept a wink. It's on my mind, another life's been taken, can't pretend. Why this seems to be, it's so confusing. I'm at the end, where I begin to search for something real. And all you gotta do is smile, just take one step at a time. Look within, you'll see the signs, my love. Ooh, and even if it takes a while, I know life can be a trial. You can take it to the other side where there's no more stress. Gotta get up now and bring it on back to love. Bring it on back now. Gotta get up now. Oh, no regrets. Shaking it up now and bring it on back to love. Bring it on back now. Shaking it up now and bring it on back to love. I know you're tired, love. Don't feel like showing up. Lean on my shoulder, life is cold, but we can overcome. Can't you see how brave we are? In the face of it all, we'll see the light shine through the dark if we let go and say it. No more stress. Get up now, bring it on back to love. Bring it on back now, gotta get up now. Bring it on back to no
Sounds of JB Rose there for y'all.
Get up now, bring it on back to love. Bring it on back now, shake it up now. Bring it on back to
Bring
love.
it on back to love.
Stress. I said no more stress. No, 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 no. 'Cause I don't want no regrets. I said no regrets. No, 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 no.
Shout out the chat room crew.
Back to love. A true life. A true life. A true.
Sounds of Ciara. What a heavy tune.
I love that song.
Stay rooted. All right. Ricky spoke of the ancestors there, didn't he? All right. And we will be celebrating Kwanzaa as of next week. Right. So it is obviously the holy festive season. Kwanzaa's not a religious, it's not a religious holiday, but it is something that it's the African Americans. It started in Africa, America. And we'll be talking a bit more on that next time. Really, it's 28 minutes past 7.
I know, it does always go very quickly.
It does, on the 22nd of December as well. It's been a sort of touch and go year, really.
Yeah, I think for me it started rocky.
Why rocky?
I don't know. I was very happy to see the end of 2019. It was not an easy year for me at all. And then going into this year, it was a bit challenging. We went on lockdown.
Oh, and then it was just all.
So then you had, I
good
think
night,
I
sweetheart.
Yeah, you had to learn how to just
adapt.
Yeah.
So has it made you more resilient out there, beautiful people? Has this whole lockdown made you more resilient? Has it made you more of a thoughtful person? Has it made you reflect more? Let us know. How has this 2020 been for you? Because as of next week, we will be seeing the back of it. But I'm sure there was a lot of lessons to have learned from it, right?
Yeah. And I feel like for me, there's more lessons to be learned.
Oh, always.
The fact that we keep on going into lockdown, it's almost like it's saying, no, Lily, you've got a little bit more learning to do. Because with everything, I always think that there's a reason why things happen the way they happen. And as much as this has not been the ideal situation for anybody, I mean, today we started off talking about children who are severely deprived, they're impoverished, you know, and we are almost blind to that fact. Not that we are, you know, completely
extravagant out there, outlandish,
but we haven't experienced what those children that are going through poverty have experienced. I mean, you go through hard times.
The 70s was a bit like that, though. So to think that if the 70s were like that and we've not moved very far on from that, then that is a cause for concern.
Yeah.
Because it was tough in those times as well. And to think, using that terminology, because it's not no first world country. Country is a country and we infiltrate a lot of places, you know, but just thinking if you've not made that progress, maybe technologically we've made progress, but as humans, we've not made much.
Do you think that we are going back to the struggles of the 70s?
They were hard times. And I'm sure you'd agree out there, guys, that grew up around, you know, 60s, 70s, those times, and especially coming into this country as well. We're still feeling the same pressures that we were feeling back then, but I just think it was more visual back then, whereas now it's quite covert. You don't see much going on unless you're looking.
See a lot going on now.
Yeah.
I honestly do. I feel like we see a lot more going on now than we would have 10 years ago.
I was in Dalston, I think, last week, and I saw a tent outside, and then outside the Santander in Bruce Grove, there's loads of beds along there.
Yeah, there's one. There's a Tesco by me, and someone's in one of the arches next to the Tesco.
Right. So it's very apparent as to what is going on. Yeah, I know during the first lockdown, a lot of people, they did rehouse people. But during this one, November and now this one. And normally around this time, there's lots of homeless shelters in December that open up, isn't it? But they've needed it all year round.
But then that's another thing now, because of obviously the situation that we're going through, how many of those places are going to be able to open their doors to people?
No idea. And do you know of any places out there, guys, that are offering shelter? That I think Ricky spoke of one. I think I saw one on his page on Facebook, but I'd have to check that out again. I can't think of any in this area. There's normally one at the back of Broad Lanes. There's like a little homeless sleeping place there. But overall, I'm really not sure. I'm not sure as to what the situation is for during this COVID Christmas. I guess we could call it that.
COVID Christmas, wow.
So there's lots and lots of issues going on. But, how do we...
So what has 2020 taught you?
What's it taught me? I think we kind of spoke about this before, just to just keep plugging away, not to give up, and to rely on the Almighty and the universe as a provider, really, and not to have any doubt that you're not going to make things through. And also maintenance. Yeah.
What do you mean by maintenance?
Maintenance, like maintaining your fitness, maintaining your health, because we could fall into... I found that I was drinking a bit too much alcohol. I was like, no, because you're in, there's nothing else to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, no, address this, address it now. Yeah, so it's been addressed, but you can just get into a whole kind of bubble. Well, bubbles. I'm gonna burst that bubble. Not really, But yeah, we can get into that.
Yeah.
And before we know it, we're down a rabbit hole yet again. And with even more issues and problems that we kind of went into, or didn't go into 2020 with, but we're leaving 2020 with. So yeah, maintenance, definitely. Health, wealth, love, everything. Maintain. Because it must have been... How did you find it, couples out there on this lockdown? How did you find kind of getting through it? Because, yeah, how did you find it, Lily?
Well, we went lockdown together. So Jay was still going to work through, even though I was working at home, Jay was still going to work through the whole of this season. And I think at first I wasn't really concerned with him going to work, because I wasn't really... Not that I didn't believe in COVID, but it wasn't something that really concerned me, yeah? And this time round, next lockdown round, the job that he's doing has changed. And I think it concerns me just a bit more.
So because he's dealing more with the public, closely with the public, whereas before he wasn't.
Yeah, but couple-wise, because we've not had to be... I think it has made us appreciate the fact that we've got to do more when we're allowed out. I hate saying that, but when we are allowed out, to do more as a family outside of the house.
Yeah.
Because we have been forced to stay inside for goodness knows, what has it been, like almost a year now. You miss the little things, like we always had people coming to us. Everyone comes to my house and jams at my house. And I think simple things like that, like making an effort to go and see people, not always having people coming to us, and, little day trips to the seaside and things like that. We've been forced to appreciate that more now, so that we can't go nowhere. Because...
Just going to the ocean, or just going on a flight somewhere, even, isn't it?
I'm so fortunate. I went away literally... just before this blew up over here, and I remember when we got back, it was like the day we got back or 2 days after we got back, we went just to Spain, and we were going to go to Tenerife originally. And when we got back, the place we was going to stay in Tenerife got put on lockdown.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people got stranded. They did get stranded.
And that's when all the travelling got messed up, and we're very fortunate to have gotten away when we did get away.
What concerns me here now as well, though, on this tier 4 thing is that you're not allowed out after midnight or something, right?
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're not allowed out? You're not allowed out at all?
No, apparently you're not allowed out after midnight. Or is that just a rumour that I heard?
No, it started. So the day that it started, it was from midnight.
Oh, okay, I see.
Oh, we're having a grey cell moment there.
Oh, don't worry. It happens quite often, guys. So, we find our way back sometimes. Ken says, way harder. He found the lockdown way harder, but we had community spirit and no pandemic and less materially. But we didn't mind not having anything.
Yeah.
Things are things, right? But that family, I think the thought of not being with family is very difficult because we are that way inclined, very family orientated. So that was very difficult.
Yeah.
I found that hard. And Joyce says, times, they are changing. This journey on my train 2020, I enjoyed lockdown to revisit the game and its rules for growth as nature is being manipulated for others. I had to use the time to mentally regroup. Definitely. It was self-reflective, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, it was.
A self-reflective time.
Because it made you focus on the things that you valued before, what really matters now. Like, for example, when everyone was going for the toilet paper, which I never understood, that just seemed so futile at that time. Why is everyone rushing for toilet paper? Wouldn't you think it's more important to stock up on food? But then it showed us that, because I remember the week before you said, when we went into Lidl, and I was like, how come there's nothing on the shelves? There's nothing here, it's ridiculous. And you made the point that we are so accustomed in this Western world to go into a shop and picking something off a shelf. And when it's not there, it infuriates us. This is ridiculous. Why can I not go and get my coconut oil when I want to get my coconut oil? It should be there.
Don't forget we are a little island, and even this week has shown things. I mean, I've been hearing little bits here and there on the news when I'm travelling in the car, and how the backup of all of the import-export.
Yeah.
We're a little island. We produce nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So, guys, I remember going to Tesco's during the whole COVID period, and I saw these potatoes. I think they went down to 10 pence, but they had all the roots coming out. I went and I took them potatoes and planted them in my garden.
Yeah.
And I got a beautiful yield out of that.
Yeah.
I got lovely yield out of it. And anything that I eat that has a seed, most things, I won't eat anything without seed anyway. If you see the amount of seeds I've collected, collect your seeds. When you're eating food, don't throw it away. Collect the seeds. This is stuff that I do. I have a whole nice big jar downstairs with apple, apricot, even the pumpkin that I grew. Loads of seeds in there. Take them out and keep it. Because we never know. We never know how we're going to be affected by certain things. And if we can't produce for ourselves, then we're stuffed. You know, and that's another thing that this year taught me. I grew a lot of veg. Well, we mentioned this before. But it was just a trial run. I've never grown so much, but it was great stuff. Yeah, Lily, have you got a point there?
No, I'm just agreeing with what you're saying. It really has taught us how to be self-sufficient and less greedy, I think.
Yeah, Joyce says here, thanks be to Jehovah for his guidance as we focus on his strength in our weakness. We just need to appreciate each other and give thanks. That too. And, the love of others. What do we have in the Think and Grow Rich tonight, Lily? Because, again, we're looking at Think and Grow Rich, a Napoleon Hill book. And there's some really, amazing thoughts. Obviously, it's helping us to have the right mindset for thinking and growing rich in a financial way. But we could also apply this to life. And by having these things in place, it really makes us a mindset, as Alicia sorry, as Joy said there, to appreciate the many things that we have in life. Have you found a point where you were going to
I have
highlight?
And I think it goes back to, well, I'll read it and then I'll kind of confirm what I said. So I've chosen the fifth step, which is imagination.
Awesome.
Now it says the imagination is literally the workshop wherein are fashioned all plans created by man or woman. The impulse, the desire, is given shape, form, and action through the aid of the imagination faculty of the mind. It has been said that man or woman can create anything which he can imagine.
Awesome.
So we have been put in the most uncomfortable situation. Can we imagine our comfortability? Can we imagine living in this state but being content with how we are at this time?
Yeah.
Because I don't just think, imagination when it comes to riches. Obviously, he's talking about thinking of what your life will be if you had a certain number of, if you had a certain amount of wealth and property or whatever. But I think sometimes you just really have to simplify it and think of, in this moment, I am stuck in my house. It is not the ideal situation, but how can I see, because you have to see it in your mind's eye, how can I feel it?
Yeah.
How can I see myself being comfortable and content with this situation?
So it's again embracing the moment, embracing the now.
Yeah.
And I do lots of things, like I've been knitting. I made a skirt yesterday. I just really try and be as creative as possible. And just think and be happy in that time that you're being creative.
Yeah.
Because that being creative is obviously one of the best times that you can have in order to just have a part of yourself there.
Yeah.
And I remember in saying that a bridge, for instance, that come out of someone's imagination.
Yeah.
All right. So whatever we see around us, that's someone's creativity that has designed that. And that is just so true. So being in the moment, in the here and in the now, and as Joy said, really appreciating and turning something uncomfortable into something that's comfortable. So Lily, oh wow, we've come very close to the end of the evening. And we do play not done it for, well, I'd done a tune by Camilla Marcel last week. It was a beautiful song, and I think I'm going to play a couple here before we kind of sign off. So guys, we hope that you have a good festive season, and don't forget to tune in to All Flavors. We play a variety of music. John J.E., he's on a Tuesday and a Sunday morning. He's on the Tuesday with the Lovers Rock special. But also, I think on a Monday, we had DJ Mark Philogene and also DJ Slim and Mr. Fix-It, who comes on a Monday. And tomorrow, we're looking forward to hearing Charlie Muir and Darnell, as well as on Thursday, we have DJ Ninja Man Lloyd and DJ Caddy. Friday, again, Mr. Fix-It and DJ Laro, who also will be on tonight from 8 till 10, and Mark Philogene from 10 until 12. And on Saturday, we have George Flavors, boss, hi there, Sour Malaysia. Yes, George Flavors is on a Saturday evening, as well as DJ Nige on Saturday with the Sure Dear show. And you'll find all of the DJs, most of the DJs play on a Sunday as well. So check out the schedule. And as well as that, we are hiring DJs as well. So if you feel that you can have something to say, or you'd like something to share, or you just like to play music, you love music and you'd like to share that, then that will be awesome as well. Just go to info@allflavasradio.com and just fill in the form there, and then I'm sure that management will take it from there. So we have a message here from 1-4. It says, that's the very scary thing. Why embrace our rights being taken away? They want us to get used to this. I understand that. Yeah.
I do understand it, but I think we can't. It's not about getting used to them taking away our rights. It's about, in this moment, we're not comfortable. In this moment, we don't like the situation, but how can we make the situation better for ourselves in the moment?
Yeah. Yeah. And that is another thing as well, beautiful people. It's a matter of knowing that the times that we are living in, because I understand it's Marjak that highlighted that point. I understand the reasons as to, why they're doing it, because sometimes it is a smokescreen. There is a lot of legislation, a lot of law, a lot of things being implemented as we speak at this time. And so this is another thing. We need to kind of be in tune with legislation and law, because there are two forms of law. We live under maritime law, which is the law of the sea, which has nothing to do with us. Because really, when we think of the Magna Carta, that was made for the people of the land. So there's two. There's a straw man and then there's a real man. But that's a whole other show, people. That's a whole other show for a whole other time. And I think we'll get Marjak in to come in and speak on that, because he's very knowledgeable on that subject. But it's very important as well, even with all these vaccines and all that stuff, knowing what our rights are. It's so important to know our rights, so that if they come and tell us anything, that we can say, hello, article number 614 says this. No, it does not apply to me. And you're living by this whatever law. Yes. You need to take your straw man over there, because I don't comply. Yeah. And then when we do that, then at least we know that we are doing it in a lawful kind of way. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you so much for your comments tonight, beautiful people. Thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. Olivia said something earlier. She highlighted when we were speaking about the passport, and she says it's embassy that the UK is still stuck in the class system. It's embarrassing, she says, okay? So we are in a class system. We've seen it with that Unicef, haven't we? Poverty line. And the rich, now we can really see a divide. There's no more middle class, that's gone.
Well, not completely, but...
we're on the way there though, right? It's just two ends of a scale.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah?
No. I think there are rich people, there are people that manage life, and then there are people that are on the poverty line. Because we have extremely rich in this country, yes, and we have extremely poor, as we've spoken about today.
Yeah.
But there are some people that don't meet either ends of those scales. So,
well, we'll just keep on going forwards, and obviously being mindful of everyone around us, and living in our moments and embracing them. Do you agree?
Definitely.
And yes, knowing and understanding law and legislation as well, because we are the people. We need to know, and we're being governed by this government that don't even know
what they're doing.
Exactly.
Opinion. Disclaimer.
That's right. It's a disclaimer, but it's true. We're just stuck in a time hole.
Yeah.
Because this is what this whole year feels like. But never mind.
Groundhog Day, great film.
Yes, have a watch of that, Groundhog Day. And also in saying that, there's a little film, it's an animation called Canvas. It's a black animation. It's absolutely beautiful. Lovely little story in it. So if you have Netflix at home, check it out. It's called Canvas. 10 minutes, but the animation is absolutely beautiful. Okay. Really, really nice. So all we have to say to you beautiful people right now is that we love y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, have a wonderful holidays, and we'll talk to you about Kwanzaa next week. And we will see y'all on the other side. Take care.
This is my story. I'm just trying to give you all of me. This is my journey. Trying to make you see what I see. This is my story. I'm just trying to give you all of me. This is my journey. Trying to make it see what I see. I'ma keep it realer than I ever have. Realer than diamond rings dipping in them Louis bags. Tell you about emotions I ain't ever shown. Only time you see it when I'm getting mad. Couple things I lost, I ain't getting back. Sometimes I wanna lose it, but what's the point? So I get
The leaves they fall at night, and you might leave my side. You may, 'cause change is bound to come and bring what no man wants. No one wants hurt. No one wants pain. To laugh in the sun and live through the shade. You wanna gallivant and lose all your thoughts tonight. You wanna gallivant and lose all your thoughts tonight. When your smoke is out, who's gonna light your fire? The cold sometimes is lessons learned inside. I wanna dance like fire. 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 Leave it to me, leave it to me. Let me open my eyes and see. Let us see comes when we meet. 'Cause faith is stronger than disbelief. Nothing but change is upon you. Nothing but change. Nothing but change is upon you. Nothing but change. You wanna gallivant and lose all your thoughts tonight. You wanna gallivant and lose all your thoughts tonight. When your smoke is out, who's gonna light your fire? The cold sometimes is lessons learned inside. I wanna dance like fire. 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 I wanna dance like fire.
Black Lotus, here on Wordsmith, got Kush TV. Imagine if Rosa Pot stood up. If Whites didn't burn down toast, or still call Moors not black nor nigger. If Michael got snaked by his own, then what go figure? If Martin didn't have that dream, would we dream way bigger? If the Panthers won their war, would we still cross that line? If Nicky Bar said hell no to the crack imported by the FBI for 100 years been undermined, while the motherland still gets undermined. Queen bowed down to us, said, Island said I see I. Swap our golden land for guns and knives, are we dumb? What a fall from grace. Look how far we come, selling queens of the finest garb, no top hat, still got them shaking bums. No respect for ourselves or each other, so how we gonna overcome? What if everyone equal? No rich, no poor, no white, no black in the end, yeah, we're all just people. Thin line between love and hate, same line between good and evil. Everybody making choices, make sure that your choice is peaceful. Making moves like Fela Kuti, not a black man chasing coochie. Knowledge is my power and freedom is my beauty. Melanin be my beauty, loyalty is my duty. Still got son like Horus, writing truths like Rumi. Don't want us to talk the truth, they rather the lies consume us. Remember the days we were gods and kings, not thugs and shooters. TNT on the Sphinx's nose just to lie and confuse us. Don't wanna see us grow like tumours. Bare lies, bare hate, bare rumours. May aim to keep us down, they don't wanna lose consumers. Whips and chains, now whips and chains. Suit and tie replace nooses. Still a whole nation clueless, worrying themselves what losers. Guess Jim Crow was right, and the actions prove it. Minority they call us, but let's count brown not black. Slavery what they taught us, not who drew the first match. Domestication and hygiene, raise curves and medicine. Educating Pythagoras, our inputs magnanimous. Not Kunta but Ramses, civilized not savages. Doctors and masons, have you realised what the damage is? Not fulfilling our true goals, rather end up in 2 holes. Prison or pussy, I guess that's one of our challenges. We're in rush trying to send us back. This our country, we built it. White man getting Brexit mad, couldn't deal with my realness. Let me talk about real-ish prejudice that we deal with. I'm not playing no victim, I just want to reveal it. No justice, it's just us. Ghetto kids are a burden. No youth clubs, them school cuts, while the rich getting tax cuts. Now the shit, it don't add up. Conspiracy, I'm shouting. No point getting mad, bruv. So, imagine if Rosa Parks stood up. If whites didn't burn down Tulsa, still cool Moors, not black, no nigger. If Michael got snaked by his own, then what, go figure? If Martin didn't have that dream, would we dream way bigger? If the Panthers won their war, would we still cross that line? If Nicky Bar said hell no to the cracking, put it by the FBI for 100 years being undermined, while the motherland still gets undermined. Creep out down to us, say, Ali Selassie I. Swap our golden lamp for guns and knives, are we dumb? What a fall from grace, look how far we come. So the queens of the finest gum, no top hat, still got them shaking bums. No respect for ourselves or each other, so how we gon' overcome? Say how we gon' overcome? Say how we gon' overcome?
In your heart where I want to be, but in my mind subconsciously I let go, don't wanna know. Ooh, got to be free.